welcome to episode 3 from the High Slot Podcast. I am your co-host, Chad, and I am here with Bill. Bill, it is just me and you again. We're back at it, the dynamic duo pair. Are you ready to go to the Pacific Division today?
Ready to rock and roll. I think this will be just a little bit easier than predicting the Central. I think it's pretty clear-cut for most of them. The middle might be up and down a little bit, but I think we'll just hop right into it and tell you guys what we think.
Definitely. So before we hop into it, let's have a little fun here for a couple minutes. So for me and you, it's a big week this week. We have our Dynasty Fantasy Hockey Draft. So we're looking forward to this for what? Months, right?
Oh, yeah.
So let me ask you this question. We know who's going to go first and second in Dynasty League. It's McDavid and Eichel, right? So let's say we weren't doing a Dynasty League. Do McDavid and Eichel still go near the top, or is it back to like Crosby, Ovechkin, Stamkos?
I think it depends on the setup. I would say the way that our league is doing it this year with the rotisserie points, all categories are equal. So, hits and penalty minutes are just as valuable as goals and assists. And with that being said, I think if it's just a one-year thing, no question you go Ovechkin. He's your across the board. He'll get you your goals, get your hits, get you your penalty minutes. He does it all. And for this kind of league, it'll definitely be him. Probably Crosby too. McDavid Eichel would drop probably big time because only 1 year. No one really knows what they're going to be doing this year. They're still going to be good. Probably like second and third round, but with just 1 year on the line, I think you stick to the guys who've been producing. Your Stammers, Tavares, Sagan after last year, maybe even Ben, and but I think even in Dynasty, a couple of those guys are going to go pretty early, right after McDavid Eichel.
Yeah, I agree. For those of you who don't know, a Dynasty League is a little bit different than your normal Fantasy League. How a Dynasty League works is basically your team rolls over every year. Not your entire team. So in our league, for example, we get to have 4 keepers. And then you get to keep those players for as long as you want. So, I have the number 2 pick, for example, and I'm probably going to take Eichel. So basically, as long as our Dynasty League is going on, rolling over, I'll have Eichel on my team. So that's why McDavid and Eichel are your 1-2s, because it's a little bit different. And you're kind of, at some points, you're going for the youth as opposed to, your Ovechkin, Crosby. A little bit of a different feel, but tons of fun.
Yeah, I agree. And there's, like you said, you were 2. The funny thing was you weren't 2 to start. We kind of had fireworks early and controversy, if you will. I was the number 1 pick. Of course, since I am the league manager, everyone thought it was rigged. We had that video, though. And even more to prove it, I traded out of it, which probably most people would think you're crazy, but I got pretty nice haul. I got 4 picks in the top 21, and with 4 keepers, I'm looking pretty just giving up McDavid. And then I know you traded up from 6
to
make
2
sure
and give it up by a second-round pick and then flopping the 3rd and the 4th. So it wasn't that much to give up, but we'll see how it works out. It's only 1 pick, but still, it's kind of a big pick at 2.
Yeah, and I think even when the draft's over, we'll probably throw it up on the website. I'll throw my opinions up there. I'm sure Chad, Rob, and Kyle will throw their opinions of what happened and the interesting things that happened during the draft. And I know the listeners that aren't in it might not be as interested, but I think it's something that it could also be a for future years too. You can kind of see it like a mock draft. There's not very many dynasty mock drafts out there. Yeah. I know with me doing all my research, it's very hard to find.
Absolutely. So fantasy hockey, tons of fun. So I thought we'd jump into that because we're both excited about it. So let's go back to the NHL. Let's head to this Pacific Division. I'm telling you that word's going to get me all day. Pacific. So we had the Central last week. It was a tough division. We had Calgary with us. It was some good stuff. But the Pacific is a little bit easier, I think. There's some good clubs in this, in this division. If you run down really quick, just a recap of last year's standings, the Ducks are at the top, 109 points. Vancouver at second at 101. Calgary third, 97. Kings, 95. Sharks, 89. Oilers, 62. And then your Phoenix Coyotes Arizona Coyotes, wow, at 56 points, second last in the league. So let's start from the top with our good friends, the Anaheim Ducks. So they finally got over the hump in the playoffs. They won a division. They won a round. You know, it was Winnipeg gave them all they could. So Bill, let you start this off. Anaheim.
But they made it all the way to the Western Conference Finals.
That's true. They won a couple rounds.
And they were really good. They were really good throughout the whole year. They were really good in the playoffs. I was kind of surprised that they didn't beat Chicago in the Western Conference Finals. That was close until the end.
A little heartbreaking for you, huh?
Yeah.
Got some money on that one?
Unknowingly put some money on that. But yeah, I think they're kind of, to be short and sweet, they're going to kind of stay where they were last year. They surprisingly had a lot of movement in the offseason. A lot of ins, a lot of outs. A lot of them not your big name players, but kind of important. I think a couple big ones would be Hagelin. Hagelin for Edom was huge. I think it was really good for Anaheim. I think Hagelin with the speed is going to help, especially with the second, third liners. Chris Stewart, especially on that team. Not my favorite player, but on a fourth line role, he can. He'll be the guy who can play the body, go to the net.
He fits that big body Anaheim.
Exactly. He will. That's what I meant to say. He fits them well. And as a third, fourth liner, it'll be a good fit for him as well.
Yeah.
And then you got a couple other ones. Bieksa, he's getting kind of old. Horkoff could be another like Stewart. He's older though, but he's going to give you some leadership on the fourth line. He'll be there for you whenever you need him. He's going to, go to the net. He's going to do whatever he needs to do. You saw it a lot when he was the captain of Edmonton. And then Hudobin, which I found a little weird. But so now they have 3 goalies.
And they just signed Gibson too, an extension.
Yeah, so that one I really don't understand. I don't know if they think Gibson is further off than they originally thought, or I don't know. Maybe it's just insurance. So and then outs were Edom, Palmieri, Bolesky. And that's kind of your big outs for
Boschman.
Yeah, Boschman. You're kind of your big outs for Anaheim. I liked Edom. He was a nice player. Palmieri played well in the playoffs, but like I said, with picking up Hagelin, Stewart, Horkoff, you're going to be fine. They're going to fit those roles well. I think they're even a little bit more of a deeper team now with their pickups. And like I said, I really don't see them going anywhere. Kessler's been proven to be a pretty massive trade 2 years ago, I think.
Well, speaking of Kessler, let's stop right there on him. I mean, he got that big contract extension in the offseason.
7 years?
Is it 6 years? 7 years? Either way, I mean, it was a huge extension. He's 31 years old. He makes, I think it's $6.8 million now over the next 6 years. So at the end of this contract, he's going to be 38, 39 years old. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think, a lot of people jumped on Anaheim and, geez, what are you guys doing getting this much money out? But Kessler's a good player. I think single-handedly he won them that Winnipeg series. But
I always go back to the Olympics. He was really good for Team USA. One of their top players, even though that was years ago now. But it's kind of the moment for me where Kessler stands out. And then the last 2 years with Anaheim, he's been really good, especially on faceoffs. I think he's been huge for them in the faceoff dot. He's been a big force. Like you said, he plays that Anaheim game well, and he was kind of just not dying, but just floating along in Vancouver doing nothing. And so I think the move to Anaheim for him was huge, and I think it was huge for Anaheim. 6 years, 7 years is a lot of money. It's probably overkill, definitely overkill.
It's a 6-year contract, but he has this year, so really it's 7 years when you run it all out.
Okay, so that's why I was thinking 7.
Yeah.
So, like I said, it's definitely overkill, but it doesn't really matter, I guess. Everyone knows the Ducks' time is now. It was last year, it was this year, it's probably the next 2. And then Getzlaff's getting old, Perry's kind of getting up there. So you kind of got to figure out in 2 years what you're going to do. So, yeah, it makes no sense, but I'm guessing it's just kind of what Kessler wanted.
Yeah, you have to wonder the style of game that he plays. How many more years do you have out of him? 2, maybe 3. He's been injury prone in his past. He was pretty healthy last year. So it's an interesting contract. I'll put it that way. I think, like you said, their window, it's 2 years, maybe 3. So this kind of gets them, I guess, through that. But once you hit year 4, 5, 6 of this contract, I mean, you got a cap hit of $6.8 million. Good luck trading that guy at 34, 35 years old.
And the weird thing is, it's harder and harder now to get out of those contracts.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the analogy that I like to use it's using a credit card. That's what the Ducks did here. They swiped their credit card, so they got their guy now. Well, that bill is coming.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have to pay that bill at some point. It might not be this year, next year, or the year after that, but that bill's eventually coming, and it's going to bite you eventually. So hopefully, I mean, if the Ducks looking at it, if we can pull off 2 cups, I mean, it's worth it, So, I mean, that'll be interesting to see how that, kind of fares out there. I like Anaheim, too, this year. I think they are a little bit of a deeper team. Hagelin is some good speed. So that'll be awesome to bring to the lineup. I'm really big on Stewart going to Anaheim. We talked about it a little bit. We kind of this is one of the times that we actually disagreed a little bit. I thought Stewart was a great fit. I said he could even play with Getzlaff and Perry. You slot him into that Bolesky role. I mean, playing with those 2 guys, I don't see why Stewart can't put, Bolesky numbers up. 20 goals, 25 goals. He's proved he can do it in the past if you just get him motivated. But in the last 2 years, he was in Buffalo, he was fine, and even in Minnesota, he was, he played well. So
his underlying numbers were never really great, though.
Right.
Which is why I kind of hold off on Stewart.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Boschman is whatever.
Yeah.
You got Lindholm there. You got
Fowler
and, still. Yeah.
So they're going to be fine. I think the interesting thing that was nice for the Ducks was Frederik Andersen.
Yeah.
He came into the playoffs. Everyone said the Ducks are a great team. They're built for the playoffs, but how is he going to play? I think he showed up and he played great. And I think it was nice for the front office to see. And it kind of gave them that confidence that, all right, we've had Gibson. We know he's going to be our future, but I guess if he's not really ready right now still, Anderson's good. And he's still young too. So he's going to be a nice – that's why I still said the Dobin thing was kind of a little weird. I don't know what they're going to do there, but maybe it was just, I don't know, moving something around.
Yeah, maybe it's just a little depth. Anderson and Gibson, they had their injury problems last year. That'll be interesting what they do in a couple of years because eventually you got to make a decision on Anderson and Gibson. I've been a huge fan of Gibson for years now. I think eventually it will be Gibson's net in Anaheim. But you should get when the time comes that they do want to move on from Anderson, they should get a good return for him. He's a good goalie, wins games, and he's always up there in goals against average. And all of his stats are pretty well. The top of the league. Being out in California, a lot of people see him, but he's a very good goalie and very underrated in my opinion.
Yep. So to wrap up Anaheim, I would say that the next 2-3 years they're going to be fun to watch. And then in the 3 years past, they're going to be fun to see what the hell they do in the offseason. Because they're going to have to move pieces. They're going to have to do a lot of kind of blowing up and refiguring out the money. Because it's, especially, like you said, you're going to have 2 goalies in the pipes. You're going to have Kessler's contract staring you in the face. You're going to have Getzlaff and Perry getting old. Mm-hmm. It's going to be very interesting to see what kind of route they decide to go. If they hang on to their old guys like San Jose or if they kind of, maybe move them while they're still can get some decent value.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's move on to the Canucks here. And, if you're a Canucks fan, you might want to put the earmuffs on because I'll tell you right now, I'm about to lay a beating on the Canucks right now. So I'm going to start here because this is going to get ugly. So the outs, Alak, gone, Carolina. Bieksa, gone, Anaheim. Bonino, Clendening. I mean, they're Bonino more. I like him more. Clendening, he's all right. Gone, Pittsburgh. And then you bring in
Cassie. Not that's
Cassie. But... Okay, whatever. He's in Montreal. Then you bring in Barkowski in the D. Okay, Prost. And you bring in Suter. That's where I want to start. That trade with Pittsburgh, Bonino, Clendening, Suter, and then you have those picks that were moved. I mean, you have a whole lot for a guy, when you look at his analytics stats, struggled in Pittsburgh. He was one of those guys in the bottom 6 in Pittsburgh that we said just couldn't get it done. And then you're going to move out a promising guy in Bonino and a pretty good defenseman in Clendening. And then on top of it all off, you're going to give Suter a contract extension when he gets here. I think it was 4 years and around 4.7, 4.5. I mean, that's for a guy who's really. I mean, I always scored 20 goals, I believe, at some point in his career. I think once. I mean, that's a lot. I don't know if I would have done it. I'll tell you what, I wouldn't have done it. And then, to go back to Lack and Miller here, I mean, the word in the offseason was there were offers on the table for Miller, and they decided to go with Lack to trade Lack anyways. And if you just look at Miller's curve, I mean, any goalie that gets up there in age, it starts to go down. And, I don't know. Miller's had some problems with injuries. Lack was a decent goalie, and he's gone now. And now you have Miller, and, you got another young goalie behind him. But I don't know what the thought was there. If I had my choice, I'm taking the younger goaltender and moving the other one out. And Miller, I know he just signed him to a contract last offseason, but Vancouver's in trouble. I mean, their average age for the team is 20.3 years old right now with their roster the way it is. The Sedins are up there. Burrows is getting up there. I think Vancouver's in for a rough year. I think their GM has set them back. They got Bo Horvat. So, they have some guys that are coming. But I think Vancouver's in for a rough ride this season. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, you covered a lot of it. What I was going to say, basically, we reflect each other. Just to wrap up the Suter thing, it was 5 years, 21, almost 22 mil, and he's gotten 21 goals twice. So, yeah, basically, we're right around what you were saying is what was happening. I agree. It was a lot to give up for that. I also agree with I don't get it. Why you don't keep Lack there and move on Miller? I know was a top goalie in the league.
It's name recognition, but sometimes you got to look past the name and do what's better for your franchise.
Yeah, exactly. And it's kind of like our first podcast where you're saying, not necessarily that you would, but what happens if you just trade Lundqvist and keep Talbot and just
how much of a drop off is that?
Reap the benefits.
Yeah.
You're getting a huge return, and how much of a drop off are you really getting? That one might be a little more, but like I said, Lack was good, and I mean just look at the playoffs. They kept Lack in, and we were even talking about that as a time to put Miller in, or do you keep rolling with Lack even though you lost?
Yeah.
And when you have those questions especially at that time of the year, I don't see how you don't keep the younger guy and trade the guy where you can get more than just shipping somebody off to Carolina. So. Yeah, I don't like Vancouver at all this year. I think the Sedins are getting old, and I think it's another name recognition thing. Okay, we drafted both Sedins. Can we trade one? Do we have to trade both of them? The stupid questions that are coming out. I feel like they're kind of they're playing head games with themselves, and I think they're going nowhere fast. And they've got a couple guys coming up, but their prospect system I don't believe is really that deep at all. And I think this is the year where it starts to fall off. And if they don't decide to do something, they might be in for a world of trouble for the next couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm Miller. I was just looking at his stats and you were talking. I mean, last year he had the second lowest save percentage of his career. His goals against were near the bottom, of his career. I mean, and that's normal for a goaltender of that age. They're going to start, they hit their peak and they start to come down. He's played a lot of games, Olympics, Sabres, playoff games. He's always been a good goalie, but he's never ever made you always want Ryan to make that save, and you really never got it. Buffalo, St. Louis.
His nickname here was Mr. Softy.
Right. I mean, there was always that goal that got through. I mean, even his high percentage save percentage is 85.25, and that's not that good. That's that's middle of the pack, but it's not great for when you think of Ryan Miller. Even his medium save percentage is an 89.12, and then his low save percentage is 96. So the better the opportunities, the easier to score goals on Miller. So unless Vancouver plans on keeping everything to the outside. which I think it'll be difficult because you have an aging defense too.
Their whole team is aging. I mean,
Right.
honestly, just looking at it, if you think about it, just think about playoffs versus Chicago a couple of years ago. Who was the core? Still on the team. Sedin, Verbata, Higgins, Burrows, Edler. Like, it's all the same guys. And they really
Andrews,
they haven't
they're
moved
all
anything.
old.
And they're now starting to age. And now it's getting to the point where you didn't move them. So you're kind of getting to the point where who's really going to want them? You're not going to get much for them. And they're putting themselves in a tough spot.
Yeah, even the back to the really quick, the Suter trade. I mean, you had two guys in Bonino and Clendenning that were productive, and you moved them out for one younger guy. Well, you just did a 2-for-1 swap. It didn't make any sense. So, I mean, I think we hammered home Vancouver here. I got them at the bottom, probably of the division. We'll go over our full recap at the end. But I think Vancouver is in a lot of trouble. So we agree on that. And I apologize, Canucks fans, but you're in for a rough season probably. So let's jump to the other team in
that's doing it right.
Western Canada, right? The Calgary Flames. So last year the Flames, nobody was like, "All right, Calgary, go away." All right, Calgary, go away. And they were there. They got Johnny Gaudreau, gave him some little boost. You got Monahan had a great season, second season. Before he went out. Giordano was arguably an MVP, if not definitely, best defenseman of the year, Norris candidate. So, and then this year they made some great moves. They brought in Frolik, which they kind of paid him a little bit more than what the market was. After the Frolik contract, actually the rest of the contracts for free agents actually weren't that bad. Maybe Calgary's kind of got a little happy there, went early. And then the big one, which they give up basically nothing, was to bring in Dougie Hamilton. So now you got Brody, who unfortunately got hurt. He'll miss a couple of weeks, but, I mean, it's a long season. And then now you're going to have Hamilton. You're going to have a healthy Giordano.
Weidman put up 15
Weidman's
goals
still there,
year.
right? I mean, that's a great top four right there. And that's a good team, I think, this year. And you got Gaudreau back, got Monahan. Hoodler is still doing his thing there. That's a good team. And
I think the one guy you're kind of dancing around but forgetting is he came into the playoffs and looked good, Sam Bennett.
Yeah.
He's going to play a whole season this year, and he looked good. He looked ready. And if he joins, your Monahan Gaudreaus and just jumps in and is another one of those young guys on a young team, they're not going to – they might not be great now, but they're going to be good, and they're going to be great in the next couple of years. I mean, like you said, that Dougie Hamilton trade, we were laughing because we're here in Buffalo. So we're like, all right, Boston, we'll just sit here and watch you implode in 1 week.
Yeah, pretty much.
So that was fun. But like you said, I mean, even did you even mention Frolik yet either?
Yeah, I got Frolik.
Okay, so but like I said in the last episode, Frolik could be a sneaky miss for Winnipeg. It could be also a sneaky pickup for Calgary. I really like it. I think he's going to do, like I said in the other one, a little bit of everything for you. And, look for Calgary to just kind of keep on trucking along. They're probably going to have their ups and downs still. I mean, they are still young. I guess for a while I'll sit to the side and not say they're going to go away.
Yeah.
Because they made me look pretty silly. But, I think it's still you're in the Western Conference. It's going to be tough. The division isn't as strong, so I think they should have a good year. But it'll definitely be interesting to see after the year that they had last year if they can kind of keep up the pace and see kind of where they'll finish off this season.
Yeah, I mean Calgary. I think they're at the top of the division. I definitely think they'll be a playoff team. I think they can even be a dangerous playoff team. Once they figure out their goaltending, we shouldn't really touch on. You got Hiller. You got Orio's there, but he's still the young guy. You got Ramo they brought him back. So really, it's Hiller and Ramo. Which one do you go with?
They were kind of in and out the whole year last year. So
right, and Hiller's kind of been talked to already, being on the trade block. So I guess that kind of gives you a hint. Maybe Ramo's their guy. But that'll be interesting to watch too. The goaltending situation in Calgary. So let's keep trugging along here. Let's go on to the Los Angeles Kings, a surprising team last year. And the fact that defending Stanley Cup champions didn't make the playoffs. They had some concerns, with their defense. They tried to bring in Sekera late to boost the club. It just wasn't enough. Now they lose Voinov. He's gone for, his criminal issues, and then so he's going back to Russia. They got out of the Richards contract, which is good for them. They cut a lot of money, gave him some cap space. Sekera's gone. But, maybe the sneaky pickup of the year, I think, could be Ehrhoff. And then they brought in Enroth, too, to back up quick. So, Bill, Kings, what do you got?
I think they'll have a bounce-back year. Kind of with what we were saying with Chicago this year. They played a lot of hockey the last couple of years, obviously. And so I think the rest is going to do them well. They had a lot of weird things with the Voinov, Stoll, Richards. They're all kind of just like weird thing. They kind of like took care of it all. It's kind of like out. They're gone now. So they can kind of focus on the interior now. Sekera being lost, Jones. They're going to be okay. Lucic should be a nice one for them. And so I don't know. I think they're just going to kind of have the year that we thought they would have last year. They'll probably get into the playoffs. They'll probably sit in that 3 spot for me. I think if you're looking at this, it looks like kind of everybody had a down year, which is weird.
Yeah.
So, and Kopitar led your team with only 64.
They got to pay him.
Yeah, they'll have to pay him. And just looking across, I think Toffoli can pick it up a little bit. Your young guys like Tanner Pearson's he's going to be a little bit better. I think just as time goes, and time throughout the season, I think they're just going to progressively get better. They're going to get back to their ways, back to playing hockey the way the LA Kings play hockey, which they kind of got away from. So I think they're going to have a bounce back year, especially with the division. I think they're going to have a decent time inside the division, which is going to help them throughout the year. I don't think San Jose, we talked about Vancouver, I don't think they're as strong as they were. So I think that's going to help them, and I think they're just going to pick up steam throughout the year. They're going to just find a nice, cozy spot in the playoffs, and then they're going to do what they do best. And once we're in, anything can happen. And I think that's kind of what you're looking for this year with LA.
Yeah, LA, the way they operate is just get me in the tournament, and then just get out of my way.
Let's dance, yeah.
Yeah, that's the way the Kings are. They just got to get in, and with the goaltending and the experience they have there, they get in the playoffs. They can make a run again. So never count the Kings out. I was personally surprised they missed last year, but like you said, they played a lot of hockey over the last 2 or 3 years, so this is probably good for them to get a full offseason of rest. So they may come back next year, better than what they've been the last 2 years because all those players got a break. Doughty and Brown, they got that break, especially Doughty, who plays a whole lot of minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think even quick, just like mentally,
yeah,
you just kind of get that break. Take a step back from hockey for a little bit when you've been playing so much. And I think like I said, I think it'll benefit them this year. That's kind of feel about LA. Yeah, they'll be there. They'll be there. Yeah.
Kings. All right, so that's the Kings for you. So let's see. So next, we're going to stay in California. We go to NoCal, though, to our good friends, the San Jose Sharks.
This is a weird one for me.
They made a lot of moves this offseason. They brought in Ward from Washington. They brought in Paul Martin from Pittsburgh. They brought in Martin Jones to take over from Niemi, who's on the way out. He went to Dallas. So, San Jose, they said it's weird. It's weird. I think they've set themselves up for a 1-2 year window to do something. Ward is up there in age. Paul Martin's up there in age. Thornton, Marlowe, all up there in age. So the window's going to close pretty quick for San Jose. With that being said, especially Martin, I like the addition because they struggled in the blue line last year. And I think Martin in particular will help a lot. He can provide some scoring as well. Ward's that guy, who he'll just be there, grind it out, get you 10, 15, and that's what you expect from him. He's a good playoff guy. He gets some big goals in his career. But really, for San Jose, they got to see the production out of Pavelski. Out of Couture had a down year. Hurdle will be back, and healthy this year, hopefully. So San Jose, it's tough. I think they'll be in the contention for a wild card. Are they going to be a wild card team? I don't know, because there's a lot of good teams in the Central, and I feel like in order for anybody that's out of the Pacific to make the playoffs, you have to be in the top three. Because I think the wild card's going to come out of the Central, both wild card spots. Their average age is 28.2, so they're up there. They're one of the older teams in the league. But San Jose, I think they're going to be around the wild card. That's how I see San Jose.
Yeah, I mean, for me last year, they really didn't. They weren't hit by the injury bug too bad. Pavelski did it at 37, so
yeah.
I mean, he's going to be fine. But like you said, it's going to be the other guys. I think Couture, you're definitely going to start to want to see more. He's played well, especially as a rookie, and then he's kind of just like coasted. You need him to take that next step to be that elite player. He's going to be that guy that you need to take over for once Thornton and Marlowe do leave. They had a weird Meckler-Carlson year, 2 weeks where he kind of just came onto the team and everyone's like, who the hell is he? And he kind of just kept scoring. But like you said, other than that, their bottom six kind of scares me. Who is it? Yeah. So that they could have like a Pittsburgh problem, but the problem is your Thornton, Marlowe, Pavelski is not Crosby, Malkin. Yeah. So like you said, and I mean I like Joe Ward. I really like Jones for Niemi. I like them getting younger there. Yeah. I think Jones could be a really good goalie.
Yeah. Stalock's not bad as a backup either. He can play.
No, yeah, he's fine. But I think that the key thing is what you said, kind of in the middle there, was like Ward's a really good playoff guy, but they're going to have to make it there. And I don't, like, our thing is you're probably getting 5 out of the Central again. I just don't see them really getting that push to be a top 3 in the Pacific. So, I really think that San Jose last year should have went the other way. Instead of picking up Ehrhoff and Paul Martin, not Ehrhoff, but Paul Martin, I really think they should have kind of taken a step back and maybe tried to see, okay, are we really going to go anywhere anymore with Thornton, Marlowe? I mean, I'm kind of seeing that era is kind of over. And I saw it as they should have gotten rid of one, if not maybe both, especially with the way that the whole fiasco with the GM and Thornton last year. I thought he would be on the move. It's kind of weird to me that he was still there. And I think they're kind of kidding themselves if they really think that they're going to go into the season and be better than, say, the Ducks. I mean, there's no way. And like I said, with LA too coming back, Calgary's young. And they're good. They're better than you last year. And with the moves they made, do you really think you're going to jump them? Yeah. Probably not, no. So I really think they should have kind of went the other way with this. I mean, good for them if they think they have a 2-year window. I think it's kind of come and gone. You should have done something in the playoffs the 6 years prior when you didn't. So, like I said, if I was the GM of them, I would have went the other way. I would have started to see what I got in the system, start bringing up my younger guys to get more time, more ice time, and see what I have down there. Like you have your Wingles and your Hurdles. So I would have went the other way. I mean, it'll be interesting. I could be wrong, but I don't think. I think San Jose is going to miss the playoffs this year, and then they're going to be, oh crap, what do we do now?
Yeah.
And that's kind of what this is being, just like seeing into the future, being proactive. You should have seen this coming. At least this is how I see it. And I think they're going to be just there, but they're not going to be LA just there. They're going to be just out. So, and now you're looking at everyone's a year older. So now what do we do?
Yeah. I mean, I think you put it in good context. The other thing that before you get off of San Jose is, a debate's going to come up again is what do you, is Brett Burns is the right spot for him on the blue line, or should he be a winger? That's been, highly debated, over the last few years in San Jose. So it'll be something to watch this season.
I think the problem is kind of the blue line. So exactly. If you move him from the blue line, now who do you have? You lost Irwin, who was
Yeah, but he mainly provides points. He's not really good in his own end, really, in the blue line. So, yeah, he'll get you goals in the blue line, but he doesn't really help you in the defensive zone.
That's true.
So maybe is he better? Is he better playing forward to help out the bottom of your lineup? I mean, but if you don't have a lot on your blue line, I guess you don't have a choice right now. That's the spot he has to fill. So
I don't just looking at it. They have nobody on the blue line.
Yeah,
they have Vlasic, and that's it.
Yeah,
and Burns and
Martin.
Well, now Martin. So congratulations, you have 3 of 6. So
yeah.
And now with us saying who's your bottom 6 offensively too, they're gonna have trouble with sending out their third and fourth lines. So, like I said, I think they're Thornton's always gonna get you points. He's always gonna be good. He's been him forever. Yeah. So you know what you're gonna get with him, but the rest of the team around him isn't good, and I don't see them really doing much.
Yeah, I agree. So next, a fun team to talk about, the Edmonton Oilers. So the Oilers, they got their lottery ticket, and they were able to pick up the best prospect you've seen in years, since Crosby maybe. So they have Connor McDavid now. Not only that, they have Sekera. They have a new goalie, Cam Talbot. They brought in Eric Gryba. They made a move to bring in Griffin Reinhart. You lose a guy like Derek Roy, who he played well with Yakupov, but whatever. You have McDavid now. Who cares? Make Yakupov work with somebody else. So Oilers are, they're an interesting team. They're kind of in the same boat that here in Buffalo we see the Sabres in. They're a far better team than they were last year. We can all agree on that. Their blue line maybe still needs some work. I mean, you brought in Sekera. That's great.
Ference Schultz. You're going to get Nurse this year.
You're going to get Nurse this year. They gave Clefbaum that big extension.
And I like Clefbaum. Yeah. I think that was, stopping on that real quick, that was huge for them. 7 years, $4 million. Even if he just turns out to be good, $4 million in 4 or 5 years is going to be nice for Clefbaum, I think.
Yeah, I mean, if it works out long term, that's great. I thought maybe it's a little bit early to commit 7 years, but I mean, hey, if you have faith in that guy, roll with it. So Edmonton, it gets back to the question: 62 points. Is it going to be enough for them to be a playoff team? Can they make the jump? Here in Buffalo, we wrestle with the thought: is can the Sabres make the jump? From where they were to be a wild card contender. It's going to be hard. It's 99 points was the last wild card spot. That was Winnipeg. They had 62. So that's a big jump. A lot of games to make up. I don't think they can do it this year. I just think it's too big of a gap. Maybe next year. I think next year they can definitely be a playoff team, but they're going to be a very fun team to watch. They always were. They could always score goals. But now when you throw McDavid in there, and I think they're better. They're better defensively. But I think that defensive group still needs a year or two to kind of mature and really get NHL caliber.
Okay, so the Edmonton Oilers. I was that guy 5 to 6 years ago who was going around to everybody. Watch out. The Edmonton Oilers, man, they're going to be killing everybody in 3 to 4 years. They've got all these first-round picks. I was just a little naive and kind of overlooked at the front office. They were terrible. Just all the moves they did, even with last year, Draisaitl. What are you doing?
Yep.
So, with bringing in, help me out here.
McDavid?
Nope. GM, Bruins.
Oh, Chiarelli.
Thank you. I think they're finally starting to. I mean, he's made a couple bad moves of his own, but I think you're at least not. You're going a step in the right direction, basically. So your front office is kind of being solidified now, and hopefully now they're all going to be going into the same direction. And even if they're not, winner, chicken dinner, you suckers won the lottery again. So, yeah. I mean, even if they are dumb, you now have McDavid too. So he's going to be pretty nice to cover up. But I'm going to say this. I love Edmonton. I've loved them. I love falling asleep, like watching those games. They're a team of highlight reels. It's really all they are. I mean, if you just look at, I mean, even people forget Draisaitl because you've got Hall, Nuge, Eberle, you got Yakupov. So their whole team is just super young, super skilled, super fast, and they have to be so good soon. And
they have a goaltender this year.
I mean, it really was their big thing last year. Is they couldn't get anybody over an 8-8.
Yeah, Edmonton was the only goalie. It was the only team I've seen in the last few years that really couldn't get anything out of any goalie. Which today's NHL, I've said it numerous times. That's impressive. That's difficult to do.
Yeah, I mean, Buffalo's the complete opposite.
Right,
we're getting too much about our goalies.
Right.
So, Edmonton. As for the playoffs, not yet. I think, like you said, the biggest problem really isn't their division. It's the other division.
Yeah.
So sneaking into that wild card is going to be tough. I think that they're going to make a push. They're going to be good. They have to be good. And I really think that finally, luck again on their side. This is going to be the piece that finally they put everything together. The big thing is the coach.
Yeah, McClellan.
They finally got I think they got McClellan, who's going to be a great coach for them. I think he was really good with San Jose, and I think that they kind of just. I think it was more San Jose than it was McClellan, to be honest.
I agree.
So I think for him to come into Edmonton, and I mean, you're just walking into a candy store.
Yeah.
Compared to you're leaving Thornton and Marlowe, and you're getting Hall and McDavid. So congratulations to him.
Yeah.
So I really think that, like I said, the Central Division is going to be Edmonton's toughest test this year. I don't think they'll make it this year, but I mean, they can only go up now. And as long as they don't do anything too stupid, maybe bringing in a couple more defenders throughout the year. But I think Sekera is a huge pickup for them.
Yep.
I can't see them really being under 80. So if anyone wants to go out there and take that bet, I'd probably do it right now.
All right, so Edmonton. So we got one team left, and
there's not much you have to say.
Yeah, I mean, Arizona Coyotes.
Austin Matthews.
Yeah. Oh gosh, Arizona, where'd you go? I mean, this team. I think this team is easily the worst team in hockey next year. As they might have been last year, I think the Sabres kind of got a head start on them. At the end of the year, I think they were the worst team in hockey, but just the Sabres had too much of a lead that Arizona couldn't catch them. I mean, they got Strome last year in the draft. If they're smart, he'll go back to juniors. He's not ready yet in the NHL level, and there's no need to rush him.
I think it would be important for him to go back and be captain of that team.
Absolutely. There's no need to rush him. You're not going anywhere. There's no need to bring him here. Unless you want to put butts in the seats, but, I mean, you'll make it worse for your franchise. Send him back. And just, do what's smart for your franchise for once. And then you bring in, Downey. Ugh. You bring in John Scott. Ugh. And then, you bring back Vermette. Okay, great. You bring in Grossman. You bring back Mahalik. You bring in Lindback to back up Mike Smith. Hopefully Mike Smith has a rebound year.
Mike Smith actually played well.
He played well the second half of the year. Half of the year he played well. First half he struggled.
Yeah, second half of the year he was top 5 in save percentage. I think he was
right.
So he was around 9.2.
He's what saved the Sabres getting that, top, finishing last. I guess
basically getting Eckel, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I guess he kind of sort of feels for Smith, I guess, because this team is going nowhere and they're going nowhere fast. They got rid of Gagne, they got rid of Arcobello, Korpikoski. Erat. So, and I'm a huge Gagne fan, just throwing it out there. Too bad he went to Philly.
They got Pronger, right? He can play still, can he?
Yeah, he's front office in the NHL and playing for Arizona now. So, they really need to do something about those kind of contracts.
Yeah, it's another day we'll go on that road.
But either way, I mean, it's kind of, you just look at Arizona, you're kind of just laughing. I mean, they did get Domi and Duclair, so that'll be nice, but I think that might even be another instance of just shelter them, keep them down. They're going to be probably angry because they're probably good enough to play now, especially on this team. But why? Why make them go through this, I think. So I think you kind of roll with what you have. You're going to be terrible. You know you're going to be terrible. You even got your GM saying that Payne's a coming. And
Yeah, Darcy Regier there suffering. What's going on
he's
there?
sitting in the background laughing because he did the same thing. So, I mean, it's a no-win. Hopefully, if Arizona's smart, it should be a no-win year. And just get another draft pick. And then kind of looking at the end of next year, see where you are, see where you get, because top 3 picks next year are lottos. So you might even get screwed there and get 4. But, I mean, even if you're still getting 4. So I think they're definitely just tank mode. They don't even have to try, honestly, because there's no way this team is doing anything next year.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Arizona's in for another rough year. Honestly, I can't even see a way that they surprise anybody. They're an old team, too, at 29.6 years old. I mean, you think Vancouver and San Jose are old teams, but Arizona's older. And another guy you got to feel bad for is Ekman Larson. I mean, he's wasting the prime of his career, stuck there. It's going to be tough.
They got rid of Yandel, who was his only help. So, I mean, it's just funny. You just go across and, like, people who cover or are trying to write articles for Arizona, they're saying, can Shane Doan have a bounce back year? Like, come on. Just sitting here, we're struggling things to talk about. They're just not. They're just not.
I have an interesting team, and in that market, that's not good. That's what makes it harder for Arizona, to be sustainable where they are.
Mm-hmm. And that's the other thing. I mean, for a while there, it seemed like every other month they were saying, "Oh, now the city's going after them." And it's the whole situation is just terrible. You kind of feel bad for the organization, even though they kind of put themselves in the spot. But I mean, what can you kind of do down there? I suppose so. Like you said, I think a lot of Arizona, the interesting things are talks for another day because they're not really the people on the ice; it's the team itself.
Yeah.
Like moving them instead of expanding. But anyway, so bottom of the division, bottom of the league, bottom of everything.
Yeah,
just
you want to give a few good things, to Arizona. You're getting Bakker back. You're going to get Hansel back. They're both healthy this year. It'll help, but it's not going to get you anywhere. Those, Bakker and Ekman Larson, those are 2 guys you got to just feel for, in the situation they're in. And it's tough. And Arizona's going to be where they're going to be. That's, like you were saying, bottom of the league, bottom of the division. And I think that's pretty easy to see. So to wrap it up here, and we'll give you our guesses of how we think the division is going to fall. So I'll start it out. I have Anaheim winning the division again, with Calgary coming in second, the Kings in third to wrap out your top 3 spots. And then, as I believe, I think the wild card's going to go to the Central. So these 4 teams are out of the playoffs. Edmonton, San Jose, Vancouver, and, of course, Arizona. So that's how I got it. Bill, what do you got?
Pretty crazy, but not so crazy because we're pretty like-minded. I basically just have Edmonton and San Jose flipped. I got Anaheim winning the division again. I think they're too strong of a team. Their time is now. They kind of just, not really sleepwalk, but I guess steamroll through the regular season. Calgary, I think you're going to look for them to take the step up this year, especially since if according to last year they would have to hop Vancouver, and I don't think they're going to have to do much hopping.
Yeah.
Vancouver, I think, is just going to drop like a rock. LA, I think, sneaks back in this year. And then if you're looking for San Jose, who, like I said, will probably just be on the outside looking in, then they're going to wonder what they have to do. Edmonton, they'll be on the up and up, especially if LA starts to fall off a little bit after this year. I think Edmonton, Calgary is going to be fun. Battle of Alberta, baby. Next 5 years should be pretty sweet. And then you got Vancouver, Arizona to round out the bottom 2. And that's pretty much it. And I feel pretty strong about this. It looks like it's pretty easy. Central should be, or the Pacific should be pretty straightforward this year.
Yeah, I mean, there's your teams at the top, and then there's kind of everybody else.
Yeah,
it's kind of the way it shapes out here.
The gap is kind of there.
Right. I mean, once you get past the top 3, Ducks, Flames, Kings, I think there's kind of there's a space. Then there's everybody else who's chasing them, but really not in the ballpark of where those three teams are going to be this year.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you got San Jose, Vancouver drowning, Arizona at the bottom of the sea, and Edmonton starting to swim.
And Edmonton's got the fast car, so they're closing quicker than the other three teams. I'll say that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the Pacific Division. That's the way we see it. So thank you very much for listening. We will be back to then jump to the Eastern Conference. Eastern Conference kind of looks a little bit the same as the West does when you break down the two divisions. So tune in next time, see what we got for the Eastern Conference. Thank you for listening. For Chad and Bill, we are out of here.
See it. Have baby.